English Bloom, the podcast.
Have you ever stayed quiet in a meeting, even when you knew exactly what to say in English?
Not because your English is bad, but because you were afraid people might judge you.
If that is you, this episode is for you. Hi, I'm Liam.
And I'm Olivia. We're here together today to talk about something that sits heavy in a lot of learners' chests, the fear of speaking a foreign language. We call it foreign language anxiety.
Yeah, and I want to start by saying something important. This is not a weakness. It's not a lack of talent. It's a real, named kind of anxiety that many people experience. And there are reasons your body reacts the way it does. You're not alone.
Right. Let's begin by naming what's actually happening when your mouth opens and your mind goes blank. The technical term, if you want to know, is foreign language classroom anxiety, and it's been studied for decades. But you don't need the label to feel how real it is. Your heart races, your mouth is dry, you rehearse sentences in your head, and then the moment passes. And afterward, you replay everything in slow motion. Sound familiar?
Very familiar. I'll be honest. There are memories I carry of staying silent for months at a time when I was learning another language. I could understand most things, but speaking felt like standing on a stage without a script. I remember thinking, if I say it wrong, people will think I'm stupid. Does that resonate, Olivia?
Oh, absolutely. In the classroom and with adult learners, I hear that exact sentence more than anything else. If I say it wrong, people will think I'm stupid. That fear of negative evaluation, of being judged, sits at the center of this anxiety. It's a social fear, and your brain reacts the way it reacts to any perceived social threat.
And it's not just about grammar. We talk a lot about perfectionism too. Many learners say to themselves, I should speak only when I can speak perfectly. So they wait. They wait for a day that never comes.
Waiting becomes a kind of safety. Silence equals safety. But silence also equals missed opportunities. And part of what we want to do here is gently challenge that safety. Show how small steps can change your inner story. But before we jump into solutions, let's acknowledge some of the daily thoughts you've likely had, the ones you whisper to yourself.
Go on.
Things like, I know the words in my head, but when I open my mouth, everything disappears. Or, I feel like a different, smaller version of myself in English. Or, I'm tired of smiling and nodding when I actually have something to say. These aren't silly or dramatic. These are real, and naming them out loud helps.
Yes, and there are physical symptoms that go with those thoughts. Heart racing, dry mouth, mind going blank, replaying embarrassing moments before sleep. Your body is trying to protect you from what it perceives as danger. It's not broken. It's just a protector that's a little overactive.
That line, your body is trying to protect you, helps take away some of the shame, doesn't it? It moves the problem from you being bad to your nervous system doing exactly what it's built to do, even if the threat is imagined.
Exactly. And one of the reasons that protective system gets triggered so easily is a single bad memory. You know the kind. A teacher laughed, a classmate mocked your pronunciation, someone kept asking, "What?" and their tone felt dismissive. Those moments become threat memories. The brain stores them and says, "Don't ever do that again." So you stop speaking. It's heartbreaking how one moment can silence years of a person's voice.
It really is. I remember working with a student, well, actually, I'll tell a story we all know on this show. Anna. She's 29, a software engineer from Brazil, working in Germany. Her reading and writing in English were strong, but in the weekly team meeting, she stayed completely quiet. She understood almost everything. She had ideas. She rehearsed them mentally. She really did. But when the moment came, she couldn't push them out. Her heart would race. She was terrified of saying a verb wrong or of sounding childish. After each meeting, she felt small and guilty. I do have ideas. I just can't push them out.
Anna's story is so familiar. There's a disconnect between competence and performance. You can understand 90% of a conversation, but your speaking performance collapses because of anxiety. And then the self-blame starts. I'm wasting opportunities. That's really painful.
It is. But there's also an opening in that story. In Anna's case, her manager, quietly, one-on-one, said, "Even if your sentences aren't perfect, please say them. We want your input." That small permission changed things. The next meeting, she promised herself to say one sentence. Her voice shook. Her grammar wasn't perfect. A colleague built on her idea. No one laughed. She left with a tiny victory. I survived. My idea mattered more than my grammar. Micro-action, huge psychological payoff.
Tiny courage creates new emotional memories. That's so important. And this idea of permission, someone giving you permission to be imperfect, can make a massive difference. Think about Saeed, another story we talk about. Saeed was 17, in class, and he said beach in a way that led the class to laugh. The teacher laughed too. Saeed felt hot and wanted to disappear, and for years that laugh lived in his head like a ghost. He stopped volunteering, he stopped trying. One kind response later, someone laughing with him and saying, "I did the same thing," started to undo that fear.
Those two turning points are so instructive. One private permission from a manager, one kind human response in a conversation group. They show that the social context matters a lot. Our culture and early schooling can also influence this. In some cultures, mistakes were punished publicly. You learned that silence was safe, mistakes were not allowed. That becomes a deep habit. Don't speak, don't risk.
Yup. And sometimes identity plays a role. Adults feeling like children again. Speaking a new language can threaten your sense of self. You might think, I'm less intelligent in English because I can't express myself fully. That's brutal. It's painful because it's not only about language skill, it's about how you see yourself in the world.
So let's pause here, Liam. If a listener is with us, feeling this right now, what does hearing these things mean? What are the first kind of comforting reframes you'd give them?
I'd start with, you are not weak, and you are not alone. There is a name for this reaction. It's common in language learners. Also, most people are not keeping a scoreboard of your errors. This is what social psychologists call the spotlight effect. We overestimate how much others notice our mistakes. In reality, most people are busy with their own to-do lists, their own insecurities. That's not an excuse, it's a comfort.
Yes, I love that. You are not under a spotlight. You're under your own spotlight. Most people will forget a small grammar slip within seconds, but you might replay it for years. That's not fair to yourself. The goal in everyday communication is clear enough English, not perfect English. Connection matters more than grammar.
Right. Fluency is not the absence of mistakes. It's the ability to keep going through them. Another belief shift I want to push is mistakes are proof that you're using English. If you never make mistakes, you might be staying in your comfort zone. Errors are evidence your brain is trying new patterns.
Lovely line. Your mistakes are proof you were brave enough to try. I'd add self-compassion here. Research shows that learners who are kinder to themselves after mistakes show less anxiety and more resilience. So replace the harsh inner critic, "I sound stupid," with something softer. "I sound like someone learning." That is brave. Practice that mental rewrite like you would a new pronunciation. Say it slowly, often.
I want to offer a short role play. Olivia, can I try the harsh inner voice and you reply with a kind one?
Yes, do it.
You sounded so stupid in that meeting. Everyone must have noticed. You should have waited until you were perfect.
Oh, Liam, that's not true. You were brave to speak. One sentence changed the conversation. People listened. Being perfect isn't the goal. Being present and sharing your idea is. I'm proud of you for trying.
Thank you. That felt soothing.
It's a small practice, but it rewires your inner response. Now, practical things, little tools you can use in real moments. We don't want to give a long list of teachery drills. We want gentle, doable moves. Let's start with micro-bravery. Liam, what's one tiny challenge someone could try this week?
Start with one sentence. That's it. In a meeting, say one sentence. In a cafe, ask the barista, "How is your day going?" On a call, introduce yourself with your name and country. "Hi, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so. Nice to meet you." These are small, repeatable acts that tell your brain speaking doesn't equal disaster.
Yes, and pairing that with a little grounding helps. Before you speak, one slow inhale, longer exhale. Feel your feet on the floor. Put a hand on your desk. A short script you trust can be helpful too. "I'm not sure I'll say this perfectly, but," or "let me try to explain." Those openings give you permission to be imperfect in the middle of the sentence.
You know what I like about that script? It's honest, and it sets expectations for listeners. It takes the pressure off you to perform. And sometimes, giving the other person permission to help, "Please tell me if I'm not clear," invites collaboration rather than judgment.
Right. Another practical area is choosing safe spaces to practice. Not all practice is equal. If you're in a highly critical environment, your voice won't grow. Look for low-judgment places, conversation clubs that focus on sharing, not correcting, patient language partners, supportive online communities. Even leaving a short comment under a video, one sentence, can be a tiny brave act. If you're listening now and feel like it, we invite you to write "courage" in the comments after this episode.
Yes, simple commitments matter. Also, remember to celebrate micro wins. Anna left a meeting and said, "I survived." That's worth celebrating. 5 years of silence healed by a sentence? Celebrate it. Give yourself credit. You're rewriting your emotional history one small moment at a time.
Let's talk about the cultural pressure piece for a moment. Some of our listeners grew up in systems that punished mistakes publicly. In those systems, silence is safety, like we said. But as adults living in new cultures and workplaces, you need a different strategy. Relearning to tolerate public imperfection is hard. It's like asking your body to undo an old habit. That's where compassion and practice come in. You don't have to do it all at once.
And identity work matters too. I want to invite listeners to try a tiny identity experiment. Instead of saying, "I'm not the type of person who speaks up," try, "I'm becoming the person who speaks up." That small shift language shaping identity actually makes the action easier. You don't have to be bold right now. Just be someone who tomorrow will do one small brave thing.
I love that. And remember Marta's story? The nurse from Poland who thought her accent would make patients distrust her. She tried to sound British and became tense and less natural. Then an elderly patient said, "I love your accent. Where are you from?" Her accent became a bridge. That reframing, accent as courage and identity instead of defect, can free you.
Yes. Many native speakers find accents interesting, even charming. Your accent tells a story. You've crossed borders, you've learned survival skills. It's not a handicap, it's evidence of experience.
Let's get a bit more practical with inner voice rewrites. I'll say a harsh thought, and you answer with a kinder one, Liam. Ready?
Ready.
Everyone speaks better than me.
Everyone is on a different step. I'm on my step, and I'm moving forward right now.
My accent is terrible.
My accent shows I speak more than one language. That's impressive and interesting.
They will get bored waiting for me to find the right word.
They might be distracted with their own life. If they're not, my idea still matters, even if I take a little time to find the word.
These are the kinds of gentle reframes you can practice in the mirror or whisper before a meeting. They don't erase anxiety, but they soften it.
We should also be realistic here. This anxiety may not vanish after one episode. It may not vanish after one brave sentence. That honesty matters. Courage doesn't mean you won't feel nervous. It means you speak anyway. And over time, bravery trains your brain. New experiences replace old threat memories.
Okay, let's do another short story dive. Saeed's classroom laugh haunted him for years. But later, in Canada, at a conversation group, someone laughed with him, shared their own story, and said, "Oh, I've made the same mistake in French." That small kindness started undoing that ghost. So, a listener who has that one painful memory, what is the first small step they could take to begin undoing it?
Start with witnessing and naming the memory. Say to yourself, out loud or in writing, "That laugh happened. I felt humiliated. I protected myself by staying silent. That was then. Today, I can try one small thing to test reality." The test could be as small as repeating a sentence in a private journal, then saying it to a trusted friend, then saying it in a small group. The graded exposure, tiny steps, helps your brain relearn safety.
And pair that with self-compassion. When the old memory surfaces, and it will, tell yourself, "My reaction is normal. I'm allowed to take it slow." You don't have to pretend you aren't scared. You can be scared and still speak.
I want to give listeners 2 practical opening phrases you can rely on when the pressure is high. Keep them simple and true. 1. I'm not sure I'll say this perfectly, but I want to share an idea. 2. Excuse me, could I add something here? Both stop the internal pressure from building and give you permission to be imperfect.
Yes. Another short tool. One deep belly breath before speaking. Inhale for 4 counts. Exhale for 6 counts. It's a tiny physiological trick that calms your autonomic nervous system for a moment, long enough to get the first words out.
Let's take a short, imaginative exercise together. If you're listening now, close your eyes for a second. Put a hand on your chest. Feel that heartbeat. Imagine the person you want to be, someone who speaks up at least once. Picture them saying one sentence in an important moment. See the near miss or the imperfect grammar. Notice it. And also notice someone listening and nodding, maybe even building on the idea. Breathe. Open your eyes when you're ready. Did you feel something shift?
Maybe just a little. Those tiny mental rehearsals matter. They create familiarness. Your brain learns a new scenario that isn't catastrophic, and that helps reduce fear in real life.
Before we move toward close, Olivia, what's one thing you wish every shy learner knew about making mistakes?
I wish they knew. Mistakes are not moral failings. Mistakes are signposts. They show where your learning is happening. They show you've pushed just a little outside your comfort zone, and that's where growth happens. Be kind to the person who tried.
Beautiful. And I want to add, what hurts more in the long run is 5 years of silence, not one embarrassing sentence. The long-term cost of avoiding is huge. Missed friendships, missed career chances, the hollow feeling of not being seen. If you can say one thing imperfectly and be remembered for your idea, that risk is worth it.
So, we've given some strategies. Let's turn them into a compact practice plan you might try this week. Just 3 things. 1. Micro bravery. Speak one sentence in a live context. 2. A short script. Use "I'm not sure I'll say this perfectly, but." 3. One self-compassion ritual. When you replay a mistake, respond with a kinder thought. You were brave. That's it.
Doable. And when you get to the end of the week, celebrate one small win, even if the win is simply that you tried. Post courage in the comments after this episode if you did one brave thing. Tell us what you said if you want. You don't have to be perfect to tell that story.
We also want to remind listeners to choose their practice spaces carefully. If your work environment is harsh and critical, look for a safe place to practice where your voice can grow, not be shut down. Low-pressure conversation groups, patient partners, or a small friend group that celebrates attempts. These are all good options.
And I'll say again, your accent is not an enemy. Marta's story, her accent becoming a bridge with patience, shows how identity and ownership can change the meaning of your voice. The story your accent tells is often one people want to hear. Your accent can become a point of connection rather than a reason to hide.
We want to leave you with a brief ritual you can use anytime you're about to speak and your nervous system wants to shut down. Do it with us now if you can. Place a hand on your chest, take a slow inhale for 4, exhale for 6. Whisper, either aloud or in your mind, these 3 sentences. My voice matters. My mistakes are part of my story. I am allowed to speak. If you said that to yourself, you have already started changing something.
If you're willing, type courage in the comments or notes and make a tiny public commitment. If you're not ready for that, write it in a private note for yourself. Either way, permission matters. Be gentle with yourself.
Before we close, a little realism and a little hope. This is a long process for many people. You don't have to be cured by the end of this episode. You only need to notice the small cracks appearing in your silence. A brave sentence here and there will slowly change your emotional map.
Agreed. And if you want more of this sort of gentle support, subscribe, if that feels right for you. We'll keep making episodes that hold your fear, celebrate small steps, and give you practical strategies that respect how hard this is.
Final thought from me. Your voice is allowed to be imperfect, and it is allowed to be powerful. You don't need perfect English to matter. Your voice deserves to be heard.
Mine too. Mistakes are not the enemy. Silence is the cost. Let your voice take one small step this week.
Thank you for spending this time with us. We know it's not easy. Take one breath, one sentence, one small, courageous action. And if you want to share that action, write courage.
We'll be here, gently cheering. Until next time, speak kindly to yourself and let your voice come out when it's ready. Bye for now. Bye for now.